Hello, May class, and welcome to your next English video. In the previous video, we had started to write our non-chronological report about Mrs. Bowen. We were looking at the introductory paragraph, and you wrote one with me, and then you wrote your own version. So today we are we're carrying on from our introduction, and we're going to be looking at the next set of paragraphs, or the next few paragraphs that we can include. You're also going to briefly look at what goes into a paragraph, just a reminder of how to lay a paragraph out. So we will be going over both of those things in today's lesson. So to start off, we're going to read over the paragraph that we created together. So I used the heading, Mrs. Bowen, fantastic head teacher. Your heading could be something slightly different if that's not what you want to use. And I said, have you ever wondered what makes a good head teacher in an outstanding school? Do you want to know more about being a head? Do you want to know more about what being a head teacher is like? Read on to find out more about a head teacher who leads an extraordinary school in Slough. So again, we just briefly discussed what would be into the non-chronological report. I had my rhetorical questions. I brought up that maybe you wanted to use 3 rhetorical questions with our power of 3, getting the reader excited, wanting them to read more, wanting them to find out more in the non-chronological report. So today you will be writing out the next part of your non-chronological report. Now you know that this is different paragraphs, and the paragraphs could be about different things. So we are going to do that together. Your information might be slightly different to mine because you may use different information to me. You may have different paragraph ideas, but you are going to choose what you are going to put next into your non-chronological report. It may just be the very next paragraph down from your introduction in your box up. So this is obviously my box up. It's very hard to read when it's like that, but you can see I've got my introduction. I said I'm going to have early life, becoming a teacher, life as a teacher, and then I gave you some options of filling in what Mrs. Bowen is like as a head teacher for you. And then instead of a conclusion, I did say that we do need a conclusion, but I also gave you an example. I said you can put fun facts, quick facts, interesting information. You could have those little information boxes. And then your conclusion could include things like leading a school requires, and then you would refer back to maybe 1 or 2 of the things that you'd mentioned. You could say Mrs. Bowen exemplifies a good leader because, and then I did say that she's a good listener, she's got interesting ideas, she's kind, she's built a wonderful community for children to learn in. So that would be a very good conclusion. And then you could also include obviously fun facts, interesting information, just key facts that could be in a side box that you could include. And then we've got our vocabulary words that you will have different vocabulary words to me. So don't forget to refer back to your toolkits that you looked at, and you can refer back to the original text map, looking at how it's laid out, looking at what's been written into it, and then you could adjust it using the information that you have used or you've collected about Mrs. Bowen. So you've done your introduction, you could explain who she was, you could explain what she looked like, and you could explain she doesn't have an army, but she does have a school. You could explain a little bit about her school and then have a conclusion. You could have fast facts about Mrs. Bowen. You could have a did you know box about her. And then I did mention one of your tasks was drawing a picture that could be included in your non-chronological report. And we need to remember also that that needs to have a caption explaining what your picture is about. So before we start with our writing, there are things that we need to remember when we are writing paragraphs. Now, our SPAG lesson, I think it was last week, looked at paragraphs and how to, or the week before, looked at paragraphs and how paragraphs should be structured, making sure that we have a topic sentence at the beginning, right? All sentences within the paragraph should be about the same person or place or time or topic. We shouldn't be swapping topics within each paragraph. When the person, place, time, or topic changes, you should start a new paragraph. So if we're writing about Mrs. Bowen's early life, I'm not going to then write about her being a head teacher in the same paragraph. I'm going to have a paragraph for her early life. I'm going to have a paragraph for life as a head teacher. I'm going to have a paragraph maybe about things she does for fun. So remember that every time your idea changes in your paragraph, you need a new paragraph. So pause the video now and click on the link below, and let's watch a clip to help us with our writing and our paragraphs. So after watching that, I want you to pause for a minute and think, why do we use paragraphs? Why do you think we use paragraphs when we are writing in a piece of writing? So I want you to mind map your ideas. So how we do that, and I will show you. So we have actually started using mind maps a little bit more, especially a topic as well. So the way this works is you would put your main thing that you are discussing in here, and then your ideas that come off of why we use mind maps would come off of this. So we could say to organize our thinking, organize our thoughts. It could be things like it looks better, breaking down your information, it's more organized. So I want you to pause and write down a few ideas of why you think we use paragraphs in a piece of writing. Okay, let's see if any of your ideas were similar to mine. So I said the following. So it's to show the author or the writer has changed time, place, or argument. It's to explain or describe an idea in detail. It's to group your ideas together, to make the text easier to read, and to organize what's being explained in the text into organized paragraphs. So this is what we need to bear in mind today when we're writing our paragraphs. So we're going to work through the paragraphs together. On the side, I have given myself some subheadings, as you can see. And then I've also included the facts from my box up that I'm going to turn into sentences. So if we start with this one, I'm going to say we've got the information we've got is Mrs. Bowen grew up in Langley. She went to Langley, went to school in Langley and Wexham. She had a very strict head teacher who wanted them to always try their best. Her father was very into computers and Mrs. Bowen wanted to be just like him. So she went to university and studied a degree, her first degree in business computer systems. So that's just a little bit that I can use for an introduction. So I'm going to turn it into a longer sentence, thinking about what conjunctions I'm going to use, my adjectives, my adverbs, to make it more interesting. Can I use any of the sentence starters that we looked at yesterday? So give it a pause and see what you can come up with for your first paragraph. Right, so I've written my first paragraph and I've highlighted some things that I have included that are important that you may also want to think about. And those are my fronted adverbials that go at the beginning of my sentences. So I've said, like many children at her school, and then I've put a comma. Mrs. Bowen, with two capital letters, was brought up in Slough and went to schools in Langley and Wexham. And because they're both places, they both get capital letters. Then I've got a full stop, then a capital letter. Growing up, comma, Mrs. Bowen's, with a possessive apostrophe for the S because it's her father. Mrs. Bowen's father was into computers and she wanted to be just like him. After school,
comma, Mrs. Bowen went to university and studied for a degree in business computer systems. So that is turning this information on the left here into a full paragraph. So I want you to pause and work through your next paragraph, whatever yours is, or complete your first one. My next one is going to be on becoming a teacher. So I'm going to pause the video for myself and I'm going to write, and then we can talk about it when we come back. So I would like you to pause it, think about your next paragraph and what you will be writing. Okay, as you can see, I've turned the rest of my information into 4 different paragraphs. So again, we've got my early life one up here. We've got becoming a teacher. And for that, I have said once she had finished university, comma, Mrs. Bowen went to work in an office. She soon realized that this was not what she wanted to do and wanted to do more to help people. Mrs. Bowen made the brave decision to go back to college, where, with a lot of hard work and commitment, she qualified as a teacher. Life as a head teacher, Mrs. Bowen has worked very hard, first as a teacher and then as a head teacher, to be the best she can be. As a head teacher, Mrs. Bowen has striven to create a school family that is a supportive and nurturing environment. That's all from the information that I collected, and you can see that I didn't use everything, but I did use some of it, turned it into sentences, and then I've got a fun fact at the bottom there that Mrs. Bowen can roller skate, and I've put an exclamation because I've made it as an exciting point. So you can see how I've used some of the information. I haven't used all of it. I've kind of sifted through it and decided this is important, this isn't important, this would be good in my paragraph, this wouldn't be good in my paragraph. And then I've kept it, or then I've created the paragraphs and with my topic sentence. So you can see once she finished university would be the start of my topic sentence, and it's telling you what she's done after she studied. My topic sentence for life as a head teacher, I've said Mrs. Bowen has worked very hard, first as a teacher and then as a head teacher, to be the best she can be. And then the sentences that follow that will link into that idea. So your three tasks are as follows today. I want you to think before you start writing. Write down the subheadings you're going to be using in the rest of your non-chronological report. Then I would like you to write out the rest of your non-chronological report under your subheadings. And then I would like you to also create a fun fact box about Mrs. Bowen here, like the one that I've done at the bottom. Okay, yours can obviously include different information to me. It doesn't have to be the same. Just like your paragraphs for your the rest of your non-chronological report don't have to be the same as mine. Maybe you want a paragraph about what Mrs. Bowen looks like. Maybe you would like a paragraph about what she is like as a head teacher. Maybe you want to go back and have a look at the information that you've collected. Maybe you want to write a little bit about what she does when she's not being a head teacher. So that's your choice. So you're going to be writing down your subheadings, then you're going to be using those subheadings and completing the rest of your non-chronological report. And then you're also going to create a fun fact box about Mrs. Bowen. Don't forget to share this with us on Tapestry. Please make sure that your work is uploaded before 4 o'clock this afternoon.